A detailed documentary on Adolf Hitler's life would provide a deep exploration of his personal background, political rise, the impact of his ideology, and the consequences of his actions. Here's a more in depth breakdown of his life, major events, and the lasting influence of his regime. Early life and background, birth and family. He was born on April 20, 1889 in Birmingham and in Austria-Hungary, now Austria, to Alois and Kelra Hitler. Childhood and education. Early struggles with his father, Alois, who was harsh and demanding. Hitler was a poor student and struggled to find his path in life. Aspiration to art. He moved to Vienna in his youth, hoping to attend art school but was rejected twice by the Academy of Fine Arts. World War I. Hitler was enlisted in the Bavarian Reserve Infantry where he served as soldier during World War I and was wounded twice. The war experience deeply influenced his views later and ideology. Path to politics. Post war Germany. After World War I, Germany was in economic and political turmoil. With high inflation, the Treaty of Versailles, and the rise of radical political movements, Hitler became involved in the German Workers' Party, which later became the Nazi Party. Mein Kampf. In prison for his failed cup beer in 1923, the beer hall postage, Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, where he outlined his nationalist, racist, and anti-Semitic views as well as his ambitions for Germany's future. Chancellor and dictator. Becoming chancellor in 1933, Hitler was appointed as Chancellor of Germany. Shortly afterward, he consolidated his power by eliminating political rivals and creating a totalitarian state. The Red Fire. After the Red Fire in February 1933, Hitler pushed through the Red Fire decree, which suspended civil liberties and allowed it for the arrest of political opponents. Nazi control. Through the Enabling Act, Hitler was granted dictatorial powers and he established a policy state with the Gestapo and SS. World War II and expansion. The invasion of Poland. In 1939, Hitler's invasion of Poland marked the beginning of the Second World War. His aggressive foreign policy and the signing of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with the Soviet Union allowed for the rapid expansion of Nazi territory across Europe. Blitzkrieg. The German military employed Blitzkrieg tactics, fast, concentrated attacks using tanks and air support, which led to rapid victories over France, Norway, and the Low Countries. Totalitarian state. Under Hitler's rule, Germany became a totalitarian state. The Nazis implemented policies of repression, including the persecution of Jews, communists, disabled individuals, and other groups deemed undesirable. Rearmament and expansionism. Hitler defined the Treaty of Versailles by rearming Germany. He pursued aggressive expansionist policies, including the annexation of Austria in 1938 and the invasion of Czechoslovakia in 1939. Downfall and death 1944 to 1945. Stalingrad and the turning tide. The defeat of Nazi forces at the Battle of Stalingrad 1942-1943 marked by the turning point in the war. Germany's military situation worsened as the Allies forces began to close from both the west and east. The fall of Berlin. As Soviet forces entered Berlin in April 1945, Hitler retreated to his underground bunker, the Reich. His leadership became increasingly erratic as defeat became inevitable. Hitler's suicide. On April 30, 1945, as Soviet forces enclosed on the Berlin, Hitler committed suicide in his bunker along with his wife Eva Braun. Legacy. The post-war impact. The devastation caused by Hitler's policy left Europeans in ruins, with an estimated 70 to 85 million people dead, including civilians and military personnel. The war and the Holocaust left lasting scars on the world. Nuremberg trials. After the war, the Allies held a Nuremberg trials to prosecute Nazi war criminals for crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide. Conclusion. The conclusion of documentary on Adolf Hitler's life typically emphasizes on the lasting impact of his actions on the world. It highlights the devastating consequences of his leadership, including the death of millions during World War II and the Holocaust. The documentary often reflects the moral and historical lessons learned from his rise to power, the dangers of totalitarian regimes, and the extreme ideology of factionism. Additionally, it may consider how Hitler's legacy continues to influence global politics, history, and human rights discussions. The final message is often one of the reflection on the importance of preventing similar ideologies from taking root again in future.
In terms of medieval Nuremberg, the marching, seething squash of Adolf Hitler's Nazi Congress comes to an end. This year they say there are 800,000 pairs of boots standing heel to heel, waiting for the Führer's final speech. And the high spot comes when, after a detailed review of Nazi achievements, Hitler cries, "My life's fight has not been in vain."
Indem ich euch ihre Blicke weise, mein Lebenskampf ist nicht umsonst gekämpft. Wenn Sowjetzeichen soll er vor sich hertragen und wir werden in unseren Zeichen wieder siegen.